My school culture, it's like very accepting. Like not everyone's exactly the same. My name is Cooper. My pronouns are he, him, his.
Remember in math class?
I'm loving my middle school experience because I have so many friends. I feel like it's because my mom's so supportive in everything. And when I was young in like pre-K and kindergarten stuff, like a lot of the kids knew me. I guess being kind of, like popular, like helped me build confidence just to be myself. I ran for student council because I wanted to make a change in the school. My school doesn't have a GSA. They used to have one, but the teacher that ran the GSA, they quit. I know that things are changing in Florida a lot. Teachers are too scared to step up and do the right thing because of the government.
The culture at my school can be very cold to students who don't really fit into the dominant group.
The culture of my school is incredibly racially, ethnically, religiously homogeneous. And for the people that don't fit that mold, they definitely feel like they're on the fringes.
Schools either don't want to talk about LGBTQ matters, or they're just not thinking about it, or they just don't care. Some of the bullying I've faced dealt with either me being autistic or transgender.
$13.
My name is Leo, and my pronouns are he, him, and ze, them. Basically, me and my friend Hayden had wanted to start a band for a while since start of high school. I love seeing my art connect with people. I feel like it's a way to communicate things that I usually don't. I did have an incident in middle school where these two girls pretended to be my friend for a month, and then they just started being awful to me, and they were in all of my classes, and what they ended up doing was switching me out of all of my classes. So I had to compromise for what they were doing. A lot of the times, just having to do things yourself without any support from the school, after a while, you just get tired.
When I'm othered, or when one of my friends is othered, I feel like we just immediately feel singled out. And it's already uncomfortable, seeing as we are a small minority in that school. We just feel extra excluded, or even more alone than we did before. And especially the feeling that no one will stand up for us is what's really heartbreaking, because so often it's just us standing by ourselves. My name is Chloe, and my pronouns are she, her. So, you're gonna be taking these hands here, put a little piece of tape on it, tape it to the front. Here, can I use that as an example? I do a lot of work at school with the No Place for Hate Club, and we're involved with anti-bias and anti-bullying education and different activities for all of the high school. Just last week, I think that my teacher believed he was just making a joke, but what really happened was he was teasing me because of my ethnicity, which made me feel so uncomfortable and so singled out that I went home that day and I just broke down, because I couldn't believe that someone who was supposed to be creating a safe space for me was just making me feel horrible.
As a Jewish student in a town that is not composed of a lot of Jewish students, I've experienced small moments of anti-Semitism with inappropriate jokes that peers have made about the Holocaust or about my identity in relation to wealth or having power. My name is Julia, and I use she, her pronouns.
I really need you to give me your most persuasive argument. You need to convince me.
Every Thursday, I go to a town nearby to a middle school, and I teach debate.
Buses should not be pink because yellow stands out more in the road.
My classrooms do not look as diverse as the class that I teach debate. I've definitely witnessed just inappropriate jokes or remarks, whether it be in person or on social media. Like, for example, a swastika was drawn in a bathroom, or a student wore blackface to a football game, that weren't necessarily directed at a student or a group of students, but impacted some of those disenfranchised students more than others.
bullying that I experienced was mainly behind my back, not inviting me to something when all my friends are going, or just flat out calling me slurs when they don't know what to think of me. My name is Viandre, and my pronouns are she, her. The reason I do what I do with social media and advocacy work on social media is because there was a lack of education within the school system for queer history and queer people in general. There's not a lot of representation. It's like anything that we're learning in school. Like, if we're getting educated about it, we're gonna be more willing to be accepting towards an idea of something.
The first step to helping students is to be proactive, because a lot of these issues come from a place of misunderstanding. Freshman year in history class, a student in my class made a really inappropriate comment about slavery. So my teacher stopped class and she pulled up a list of different neo-Nazi and white supremacy tropes and identified the one that the student had said on the list and connected it to the larger social and political implications that that statement had. I still remember that moment in history class today because our teacher didn't just react to the statement. She didn't just say, "Don't say that." She didn't just send him to the principal. She was contextualizing the statement he made in a larger narrative and in a larger context of our society that meant that the classroom was able to understand what that statement meant to the larger world. And that really stuck with me.
What I would like to see from administration is actually taking care of us, not on a surface level, actually teaching the students why what they did or said was rude to a trans person or a queer student, and then really looking at the aftercare of how we're feeling. I did have one teacher that was constantly there for me, and that teacher being there for me was like my only saving grace in that school. And I just wish all the teachers had that energy and mentality, because sometimes I couldn't always stand up for myself.
When incidents happen at school, they are dealt with very individually and not looking at the system as a whole and looking at how many times that one incident has occurred. It's mostly just this one instance that people will talk about and that will be dealt with, but only on the surface. I think that what students really want from teachers is they want to feel safe and they want to feel like they belong, and they want to know that there's someone who will always be on their side and look out for them.
When the kid that draws the swastika gets expelled from school, I don't feel safer. I feel safer when I know the adults in my building are dedicated to remedying the issue completely. They're paying attention to the impact that that had on Jewish students, and they're focused on making the climate of the school more productive in the future. I think schools are missing the opportunity to be honest, because a lot of these issues that come up just require a genuine conversation about what happened, about what it means to different people in the community, and why it can't be said. They're afraid to confront the political nature of some of these comments, and they're hiding away from that without recognizing that that honesty is absolutely required in order to fully resolve these types of problems. These procedures have to be intentional and they have to be clear, but ultimately they need to be forgiving, because that is the way that students learn and that is the way that communities heal.